Hello students, today we start with the first chapter, that is problem solving aspects. So in our day-to-day life, we face or we encounter different types of problems. The problem may be a big problem or that may be a very small problem. That problem may be a easy type of a problem which we can solve in a few moments, or that problem may be hard, or sometimes we required a methodological approach to solve the problem. So there are so many differences according to the type of a problem. But human is having a natural problem solving abilities. So how we solve the problem, that our behavior when solving any problem follows a logical sequence of actions, and using that logical sequence of action we accomplish the particular task. One example is given here, that is to make a phone call. It is a very simple example. So what operations or in a proper sequence we are going to perform for that? In that, first we pick up the receiver, then we listen for the dial tone, then third is if there is a dial tone, then we dial the number, then we wait for the response. If the call is answered, then we communicate and we hang up. So this is what the sequence of operations we perform. So what does this problem solving is? So problem solving consists of some using some methods in a orderly manner for finding the solution to the problem. Okay. So basically, problem solving when we done, then that can actually have number of steps. That is, we first understand what is the problem, then we devise that problem, then we plan for the solution, and then we look back and again go for the solution. So this is the way human is going to solve any type of a problem. Now, how the problems are get solved by using computers, means problem solving using computers. As you know, a computer is actually a machine, an electronic machine, just like any other machine which performs some task. What computer does? Computer receives some data as an input, store that data, then manipulate that data and provide the output, which is in a particular or useful format. Okay. So in this way machine is going to be work. And computer is a general purpose machine, and it uses actually the instructions to solve a particular problem. So the advantages of using a computer is that once we have written a solution for a particular computer, then a computer can repeat the solution repeatedly and accurately many times, isn't it? So there is different approaches to solve the problem by using computer, but here one thing is you have to always remember that since computer is a machine, the solution has to be given to the computer. He cannot think himself. So that's why the solution is given to the computer in the form of instructions, which is understandable to the computer. And a computer is going to execute that set of instructions, and which we are given to the computer in a particular or fixed format. And these instructions have to be written using a programming language. So hence we are going to use the programming language as a tool for solving the problems using computers. Okay, and this is what we are going to learn here. So to solve the problem using computers, there is one approach used which is called as Polya's problem solving approach. And that approach is very simple approach and very easily understandable approach. As you know, a computer going to execute the set of instructions, and these instructions we have to given to the computer, and that is in the form of program. And for that, we are going to use a programming language. So it becomes easy to understand the things by the computer. Okay. Now the steps involved in a problem solving using computers are: the first step is understand the problem. In this phase, the requirements are actually gathered. Means, to solve the particular problem, we must first understand that problem properly. That is, we have to understand what exactly has to be done. Means, what is the input, what is the expected output. So this is what we required in this first phase, that is understand the problem. Then the second phase is develop the solution. Here, once the problem has been clearly get understood, the solution has to be developed for that problem. When we get the clear idea about the problem, then we can develop the solution for that. So this is like a design phase which determines how the solution will be developed. For this, we use various tools. For example, we may use the diagrammatic tools like flowchart, structure charts, algorithm, pseudocode, etc. And this helps us in showing the flow of the solution, and we can easily identify the mistakes also. The next phase is implement the solution. So here we are under actually for in a first phase we understand the problem. In a second phase we develop the solution for that. Now we have to implement that solution here. So the solution is implemented by using a programming language. This entire code could be broken into a number of pieces, we call it as a modules, and develop it independently. Or it may be developed as a single program. And the programming languages are used as a tool to implement the solution. Then next phase is test the solution. Testing is very important phase of program development. Means what? Whatever program we develop or the solution we develop, that must be tested for all possible values of input to check whether it is give or it provides us a desired solution or output or not. So in order to do this, we have to develop the number of test cases, and which we can use in the program execution. Okay. Now after that, the next phase is refine and maintain the solution. Once our program is get tested and we say yes, it is okay, then the final phase is its maintenance. Means what? This stage actually involves ensuring that the program runs efficiently and making the updates if necessary. If we think that no, this is the some improvement we required in the program, so that updation we can do. We can adding a new feature as per the requirement. That can be done in this phase. So these are the 5 steps of solving a problem using computers. That is, first is understand the problem, second develop the solution, third implement that solution, fourth test the solution, and fifth is refine and maintain the solution. Now we see what is algorithms. An algorithm is an important tool which is used to give the solution in the step-by-step manner. We define it as: an algorithm is a finite set of instructions in a specific sequence which, if followed, accomplish a particular task. And these instructions are written in a very simple English language. This word algorithm is actually derived from a name of a Persian mathematician, Al-Khwarizmi, who gave the step-by-step procedure for arithmetic problems like dividing, solving, linear equations, etc. And by uh, he actually derived this concept. Every algorithm must satisfy the following criteria or following properties. And that the first property is finiteness, means the algorithm should terminate after finite number of steps. That is what the finiteness. It must have some terminating condition. The second property is definiteness. So definiteness means each instruction must be defined clearly and unambiguously. Means there must not be any ambiguity in definitions. That is definiteness. The next property is effectiveness. So every instruction must be sufficiently basic one and that can be carried out by a person by using a simple pen and pencil or pencil and paper. So that must be effectively get described. Now the next is input. So the algorithm must accept the input, means it must accept zero or more quantities as an input which are externally supplied to the algorithm. Then the next is output. Every algorithm should produce at least one desired output. That is compulsory. So these are the properties that must be satisfied by the algorithm. There are many advantages of algorithms. In that, first is it is a general purpose tool which is language and hardware independent. Means for algorithm you do not require any particular language or any hardware or mechanical things. So using just a pen and pencil paper, you can write the algorithm. That's why it is language and hardware independent. Second advantage is it makes it easy to understand the program logic. As in algorithm, we are going to describe the solution in a step-by-step manner. So it becomes very easy to understand the logic of the program. The third advantage is identification of error is easier. Okay, because of step-by-step solution, we can easily identify where the error or the problem is. Now, fourth advantage is a program can be written from an algorithm. As we have already written in a step-by-step manner the solution of a particular problem in an algorithm, so we can easily write the program from the algorithm. We just have to convert that steps into the programming code. The fifth advantage is since it is written in a simple English, it can be understood by everyone. So everyone knows the simple English and it is in the form of steps. That's why we can easily understand the algorithm. There are some disadvantages also of algorithm. In that the first is it is time consuming process. If your problem is hard and you need to apply number of steps to solve that problem, so it becomes time consuming process. The second is it is difficult to show branching and repetitive tasks. So there are number of solutions in that we have to perform some or actions again and again, perform some procedure again and again, and we have to make the changes in the steps according to the situation, and that is going to become difficult to show in a algorithm. The third disadvantage is it is often unclear on how much detail to put in an algorithm. So, as we are going to use the simple English language, and it is not definitely we can say that how much detail we can going to display or going to define in the algorithm. The fourth disadvantage is for big tasks, an algorithm can become lengthy and complicated. So if your problem is hard, it is complicated, it is having a lengthy solution, then your algorithm is also become lengthy. So this is some disadvantages of algorithm. Now we go for some examples of algorithm. Okay. So this is your first example. Calculate area of a circle by taking radius as input. Okay, so for this means what is the problem here? We have to calculate the area of circle, and for that what we required? We required radius, which is act as input for the solution. So input we required is the radius. Using radius we are going to calculate the area of circle, and what is the output we generate? That is value of area. Okay, now this is the way we understand the problem. Then we write the algorithm, means the solution steps. So the way we can write the algorithm is like this, means here first you have to write the step number, step 1. Always the first step is a start step. Now the second step here is input value of radius. We are going to accept or read the input for the algorithm or for the problem. Then third step is calculate area using formula. What is the formula? Area is equal to 3.142 into radius. So we perform a simple multiplication of pi value, that is 3.14, and then radius into radius. So in this way we can calculate the area of circle. The fourth step is after calculating the area, you just have to display the value of area. And the last step is stop. So this is what the step-by-step solution to the problem. That what is the problem? To find area of circle. And for that, what is the input we require? We required input as a radius, and output we create is the value of area. Okay. Now we go for the second example. The example is to check if number is positive or negative. Okay. So what is mean by positive number and negative number? When the number is less than 0, it is a negative number. And when the number is greater than 0, it means it is a positive number. Okay. So how we write the algorithm? So first step of algorithm is start. The second step is input number. This is what the input we required, and for that we say input number. In the third step, we check if number less than 0, then this is the condition. If number less than 0 means whatever the value of that number, if it is less than 0, then we just say display number is negative. This is the message which is in the double quotes. So if number value is less than 0, then we say display number is negative. Else means if number is not less than 0, then we display number is positive. So this is the conditional statement, and here if it is true, then the first statement will be displayed, and if it is false, means number is greater than 0, then else part means this second statement will be displayed. And after that, the last step is stop. Okay, so in this way we write the algorithm to check whether the number is positive or negative. Now look at this third example, that is to display the numbers from 1 to 100. That is, we have to display the number that is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 up to 100. Okay, so how the algorithm is going to be designed for that? In a first step, that is start the algorithm. Step 2, we assign 1 to num, means indirectly num is equal to 1. Okay, the third step, we are just going to display that value of num. So initially your num is 1, and here also we have to display from 1 to 100 na? So we are going to display that value, that is num. Now in the fourth step, we increment the value of number by 1, that is num is equal to num plus 1. Means we add 1 to the previous value of num, and it is 1 at first, and we add 1 means it becomes 2. Okay, now in the next step, that is step 5, we check if the number which we calculate here is less than or equal to 100, whether that number is less than or equal to 100. If it is less than or equal to 100, then we go to step 3. Okay, and when we go to step 3, it displays that number, means first it displays 1. Here 1 is get incremented, that is num is equal to num plus 1, it becomes 2. Then as 2 is less than or equal to 100, then it will go for step 3, means your control is go for step 3 and display 2. When it displays 2, it again increment that number, means 2 by 1. That is again 2 plus 1. Now your num become 3. It will again check. If your num means 3 is less than or equal to 100, yes. Then again go to step 3. Again display 3. Like this iteratively, it will be execute up to the point where your num become greater than or equal to 100, greater than 100 basically. When your num become 101, at that time this condition become false, and it will go to step 6, that is stop, and it will display the numbers from 1 to 100. So this is a good example that how iteratively or repeatedly the instructions are going to be performed. Okay, do you get this? Okay. Okay, thank you students.